LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant will never win another NBA championship in their careers because all three of these players, they all got the same thing in common, and that's they're old. Now, because they're old, that doesn't mean that they're washed. Obviously, Steph Curry can still play at a high level. LeBron James can still play at a high level, and Kevin Durant can still play at a high level. And all three of these players are still averaging 20 plus points per game. But these players are no longer able to will their teams, in the playoffs, right? They're not able to, get to the finals anymore, because the teams that they're playing against that's able to get to the finals and the conference finals, they're young. And these guys get tired, man. When it's the end of the season, man, these guys are either going to get injured or they're just going to be exhausted. And it shows year after year after year. You look at a guy like Kevin Durant, he's on a team with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, two players that whether you consider them right now or at one point in time, they were considered superstars. Devin Booker, he damn near scored 100 points in the game, right? Bradley Beal, we all know that he played at a superstar level on the Washington Wizards. And Kevin Durant, he can't even get to the conference finals with the Phoenix Suns. You look at LeBron James, he just had a year where he played with Luka Doncic, who's arguably the best scorer in the NBA, and he was unable to get past the Minnesota Timberwolves. Why? Because the Timberwolves are the younger team. Their stars are younger. Anthony Edwards is only 23. Julius Randle's in his 20s. Naz Reid is in his 20s. And they just simply got outplayed. You understand what I'm saying? Julius Randle's 30 years old, which is still young. How old is Naz Reid? Naz Reid is 25 years old, and Ant-Man is 23 years old. Then you look at Golden State, right? Golden State, even though Steph Curry was injured, Jimmy Butler, who's 35 years old, he just looked completely washed against Minnesota. Jimmy Butler got outplayed by Jonathan Kuminga, who came off the bench and wasn't even getting any minutes before Steph Curry got injured. You want to know why Jonathan Kuminga was outplaying Jimmy Butler? Because Jonathan Kuminga is only 22 years old. He's young. He has fresh legs. Once again, this is a young man's league, guys. You're going to see these young teams only get better and better. And you're going to see these teams with these old-ass superstars that's pushing 40. They're going to get worse and worse and worse. If the Lakers decide to keep LeBron James and not get rid of him, the Lakers they're going to look worse than they look this year. If the Phoenix Suns decide to keep Kevin Durant instead of trading him, they're going to look worse than they did this year. And the Warriors, they're not going to be able to beat teams like Minnesota, OKC. I don't even think they could beat Denver. I don't. And teams like the Houston Rockets, they're only going to get better. Teams like the Orlando Magic in the East, they're only going to get better. Let's just call it what it is. Another team that we could bring up, let's look at the Philadelphia 76ers. You got Joel Embiid, who has all types of injury problems. He's 31 years old. And then you got Paul George, who's another player that is washed. He had the worst season of his career last year. He only averaged 16 points per game when the year prior on the Los Angeles Clippers, he averaged 22 points per game. That's a huge drop off. How old is Paul George? 35 years old. So all of these players that have been around for a while, like I said, that's pushing 40, these guys are no longer able to help their teams win championships. It's over. It's over. Just look at the last three teams to win a championship. You got Boston, young team. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are in their 20s. The year before, the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic is 30 years old. Jamal Murray is 28. Aaron Gordon is 29, right? Who won that championship before then? I believe it was Golden State, right? But like I said, man, it's over. The only way that these guys can compete is if they get younger teams. You can't win. You can't go to the finals when you have two superstars that's in their mid-30s. It's just not going to happen. The game is too fast. Teams are getting too many fast break points, and they just shooting too many threes. And these players that's in their mid-30s, like the mid-30s to 40s, like Paul George and Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, when it's playoff time, they're either going to be too tired or they're going to have some type of injury. So let me know what you guys think about this video. It's your boy Wavy. I'm out.